I found out my boyfriend was cheating because the girl messaged me on Facebook. I 35F just broke up with my boyfriend 36M because I found out he was cheating on me for the past 3 years. I had no idea. My world has been completely flipped upside down. We had just agreed on terms for him to move into my house. I thought we were finally taking a step forward after 8 years. What did I miss? Background. I met him in 2015 and we dated until 2019. I broke up with him due to compatibility issues. I wanted marriage and kids. He wasn't sure he wanted marriage and wanted to wait to be more financially stable. But when the lockdown started in 2020, we started hanging out again, and after a while, he promised me that I was the only one for him and that he would work on the things I needed from him. We officially got back together towards the end of 2021, and I thought, for the most part, everything was great. I felt that he was really making an effort in the areas I asked for. He was kind and thoughtful overall, and we never fought or even raised our voices to each other. He was dragging his feet on marrying me, but that was about the only thing I couldn't compromise on any longer. Fast forward to this past Saturday. I'm home alone. He said he was hanging with his boys, and I couldn't find this annoying notification in my Facebook Messenger app. I'm one of those that can't stand to see the red bubble. I finally found a message request from someone I didn't know asking if the guy in my profile pic was my boyfriend. If so, her friend, who wanted to remain anonymous, had been involved with him on and off since 2020, most recently in April 2024. It was so sketchy, and she gave me no proof. How could I believe a rando on the internet over this guy I've known for 9 years that I truly believed was a decent man? He walked in the door to me crying on the couch, and I asked him if he knew who she was, what she was talking about. He said he couldn't imagine who it could be. He would never cheat on me. With his entire tiny frame shaking, he took my hands and looked into my eyes and said, "Babe, I want to marry you. I've really been thinking seriously about it, and I'm going to buy you a ring. You deserve that." We kissed. I sat next to him as I messaged with this woman, trying to get details. Eventually, I just asked to speak to the girl my boyfriend had been involved with directly. She said she would let her know. I started frantically calling my friends, asking why would someone make up this story? Of course we all believe my boyfriend, right? He's been so good to me, right? He would never cheat. He doesn't even like talking to people. I was literally talking on speakerphone in front of him, defending him. I cried until 4 a.m. He fell asleep at 1:30. I eventually went to the guest room because I didn't want to wake him with my racing thoughts. After a while, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, he came to the guest room, wrapped me up in his arms, and promised this was all crazy plot to break us up and that he was fully committed to me. I finally fell asleep. Sunday came and went with him, racking his brain, trying to figure out who it could be. I, having just watched Baby Reindeer, was slowly convincing myself this was a crazy stalker. I said, "How do you even defend yourself in a situation like this?" And he heartily agreed. Monday morning, I go to work. I'm on People Finder websites trying to figure out who this woman is. She lives in a different state? What's her connection to my area? Is it a cousin? A friend? Suddenly, I get a new Facebook message from her with just a phone number. I searched the phone number on a couple scam number lookup sites and People Finder sites, and it didn't come back to anything. Sure that she wouldn't have any evidence and my boyfriend would be exonerated. I texted the number. Soon I get a message back. She seemed genuine. She provided screenshots of messages from Jan and Mar of this year. Pictures he had sent her. I recognized his mom's house in one of them. She said they met on a dating app in 2020, but he was hot and cold with her. It seemed like she would press him to define their relationship, and he would just break it off. I still don't know if she was reinitiating things, or if he was actively pursuing her. The evidence became overwhelming. She said he broke up with her April 1st, 2024, and she finally had had enough. But then she was having a sad girl moment and went scrolling on his page where she stumbled across my freshly updated profile picture of myself and him. Side note, I knew he had a Facebook, we were friends, but it wasn't a big deal to either of us. I never tagged him in anything. Neither of us changed our relationship status. I hate taking pictures and so did he, so there wasn't a lot of crossover. A picture or two every other year since 2016. Enough that she knew that I was with him first. Although, it is strange because we were broken up when he met her, so I somewhat feel like the other woman. I confronted him with the evidence and asked for my keys back and for him to leave. He said okay, and had all of his things in his car in less than 10 minutes. Barely a word was spoken. I had to stop him to ask him to acknowledge that it was real for my sanity, and he said yes. We talked again a couple days later, and I pressed him with questions. After he had left on Monday, I checked my text with him and I had an exact match, date and time, where he heard that he would see her at 7:30 p.m. To me, at 7:20 p.m. he says, I got an after-hours call. I'll be home late, and then a text at 10 p.m., headed home. Undeniable proof. He said he figured out who she was. He broke up with her April 1st, 2021, not 2024. He said she doctored the screenshots to make them look like they were from this year, but really they were not. She couldn't possibly have known that I would have the matching texts. He said that it was a coincidence. My trust in everything is shattered. I just feel as though I'm spiraling. The last 3 years have been a total lie. What red flags did I miss? Was I just too easygoing? I thought we just got along really well. I went a little crazy and called his job because of course they would have a record of the after-hours call if it was true. I left a message for the one guy I met one time, but he hasn't called me back. I start therapy next week. And now to the next story, story 2. My girlfriend cheated. Now she regrets it. In June of 2022, I, M28, met my girlfriend, F26. Due to my work, a significant portion of our relationship has been long distance. Before we met, she had a DUI, which she never told me about. 2 months into our relationship, she got another DUI. I thought it was her first. I assured her that we would figure it out together. In December, we broke up for 2 days, but she quickly reached out, saying it was a dumb, angry mistake and wanted to get back together. Over the next few months, I noticed how stressed she was with work and the strain of our long-distance relationship. To help, I told her that I made enough money to support us while she dealt with her DUI situation. The following May, she quit her job and traveled with me, which caused some issues. I worked long hours and often felt too tired to do anything after work, but she had been home all day and always wanted to go out. This led to a rough patch in our relationship, during which she started talking to her ex through emails and phone calls while I was at work. I didn't find out about this until November 2023, just before starting a new traveling job. Her ex messaged me, revealing that they had been talking for months. He was upset because she finally told him she wanted to focus on our relationship and leave him alone. So, in retaliation, he snitched on her. While I was angry at him for interfering, I also appreciated the honesty. When I confronted her, she initially lied, claiming he was just a friend. Eventually, she admitted he was her ex. I also learned that during our 2-day breakup in December 2022, she had slept with him and lied about it when we got back together. Knowing all of this, I decided to end things and left to start my new traveling job. After about a month of missing my dogs, I decided to give her another chance because she convinced me that I was the man she wanted to build a future with. What a mistake that was. Fast forward to June 20th, 2024, and we had hit another rough patch. Guess who messaged me again? Her ex, once more, informing me that they had been talking again via email and phone calls. He explained that she had convinced him they would get back together and she would leave me. I confronted her and told her all I needed to know was if she wanted to keep our dog or not. She said I could keep the dog, packed her things, and left. And where did she go? Straight to her ex's house in Mississippi. We were in Phoenix for work. After being with him for a few days and seeing that I posted an engagement ring for sale, which cost me $8,000, selling for $5,500, she called me. She asked if I was really going to propose, to which I responded, "It doesn't matter anymore." She then said, "It might not matter to you anymore, but it makes me feel really stupid and that I've made a mistake. I just felt like I had to close this chapter of my life." She talked about how the future might bring forgiveness and hoped that we might work things out. So, to recap, she talked to him while we were together earlier in our relationship, slept with him during our 2-day breakup, and had been talking to him again. When I told her to leave, she went straight to him, but now she wants me back in her life again. I was obviously stupid for taking her back the first time, but I'll be damned if I make that mistake again. Typing all of this out has been therapeutic. I have a lot of hatred towards the way she treated me, but at the same time, I feel like I could never hate her. I will always love her because I have never loved anyone the way I loved her. Being abandoned by nearly everyone as a child, including my parents, and throughout my teenage years, I felt like she was the first person I ever truly let in and let myself feel something for. Why are people so shitty? I paid for everything, literally everything. I always opened her door, tried to compliment her, bought her flowers, and made time for her even though I was working 80-hour weeks. Despite all this, she still chose to betray me multiple times. It's hard to comprehend why someone would throw away a relationship where they were treated with so much love and care. Now, I have to pick up the pieces and move on, knowing I did everything I could and it still wasn't enough. Now next story, story 3. I, 26M, caught my girlfriend, 30F, cheating. Hello all. I didn't realize how long this post would be, but I wanted to give every single part of the story so that I can get the best feedback and advice. I'm looking for answers and not sure what to do next. Last month, I caught my girlfriend messaging a guy, and the messages were pretty damning. Now, before you ask, why did you go through her phone? Do you not trust her? At the time it happened, I had lost my job in April and was trying my hardest to find a new one. We were fighting a lot due to my unemployment and the stress it caused, all while I had just started school in March. This meant I was leaving her on her own in our apartment at night from Monday to Thursday. Another important detail is that whenever a girl messages me, I am the first to tell my girlfriend, so if she ever questions me about it, she already knows who it is. Leading up to me looking through her phone, she had been acting differently when we would hang out on my days off from school. She would be on her phone a lot, sitting in a corner so I couldn't see what she was doing, and generally being secretive. I talked to a friend about it, and they suggested I go through her phone to see what was up. I was hesitant because I didn't want to find something that would ruin everything, but I also didn't want to ignore the signs. The week prior to the incident, she was showing me something on her phone, and I noticed a guy messaging her, a name I had never seen or heard of before. I told her, "Hey, some guy is messaging you right now." I didn't open it because I didn't want to see anything that would ruin our relationship. She responded, "Oh, he was telling me different workouts to do to help grow my legs." Given my background in football and training, I felt I had enough knowledge to help her with workouts. I didn't say anything more and let it go. That day, after seeing enough of her suspicious behavior, I finally decided to go through her phone. The first app one checked was Snapchat since I had seen the guy's name pop up a week prior. The first guy on her list was different from the one I saw before, so I clicked on his profile. There, I saw the conversation that confirmed my worst fears. She had posted a throwback picture of herself in a bikini at a pool, and the guy had replied with inappropriate comments. Instead of rejecting his advances, she engaged in the conversation. I took a picture of the conversation and put her phone down because she was coming out of the restroom. I had no idea what to do. Should I say something? I decided to wait and called my best friend after she left for work to tell him everything. He said, "You have two options, end things or make it work." I found the guy's profile on Snapchat, took a screenshot, and sent it to her to see if she would confess. When I asked her who the person was, she claimed not to know him. Before I could even respond, she called me, insisting she had no clue who he was and asking why I was asking. I sent her the picture of the conversation and told her to check her phone again. She went quiet, presumably reading the screenshot, then said, "I'm so sorry. I messed up. I made a mistake." I knew then that she was caught. We argued over the phone, and I told her I was packing her things and that we were done. She tried to downplay the incident, saying it was only that one night and didn't mean anything, and that she had tried to stop the conversation, but he persisted. She left work early and came home to find all her stuff packed by the door. She broke down, trying to convince me it meant nothing and that she had nowhere to go since her mom said she couldn't move in with her. After hours of fighting, we agreed to take a break to give me time to think. Eventually, I let her unpack her things, but made it clear I didn't forgive her and would not forget. Fast forward 3 weeks, I finally found a job. To celebrate, we hung out with friends. One of our friends kept saying, "Girl, I hold men to your man's standards," implying that I was a good partner. This made me mad, and on the drive home, I told her, "It's crazy that I'm considered the standard, but your friends don't know how you treated me." She started crying, saying it was a mistake and it would never happen again. Before bed, she said, "I figured you'd be over it already." I reminded her of the pain her ex caused her and asked, "Did you ever get over it? Did you ever forget?" She admitted she hadn't. So, everybody, I'm seeking advice on how to get through this or reasons why I should give up. I don't want to give up on what we have, but I'm constantly overthinking about what she's doing. I've been cheated on before and gave second chances only to be hurt again. I always told myself I wouldn't go through that again, but here I am giving second chances. Any feedback is welcome, good or bad, to help me get through this tough time. Now last story, story 4. My scumbag stepfather, 38M, cheated on my mom, 49F, with a married woman. Hi, everyone. I'm having a really hard time being rational right now. Sorry, this is a long one. A couple days ago, my family found out my stepfather cheated on my mom, his wife. They've been together for 13 plus years, 2 weeks ago with a married woman. To put it lightly, my family is in tatters. My mom has loved and supported my stepfather when he was homeless, jobless, on the verge of death, literally, and now when he's recently been diagnosed with a disability and is unemployed again. She literally gave everything to him, including more than 13 years of her life. She raised his kids from the ages of 3 and 5. They're also heartbroken, when she already was raising 2 kids of her own, my sibling and I. All of his excuses were bullshit. I don't know why I did it. Maybe it was stress or depression. Everyone makes mistakes. This one in particular made me livid. I'm not saying my mom is perfect. She's a human with flaws just like anyone else. I'm not naive enough to believe in perfect relationships either. But I truly think cheaters and abusers are the scum of the earth who deserve no empathy. To really put the cherry on top, we just came back from a family vacation, which is my Christmas gift to my family every year. We found out about the cheating the day after we came home. He went on that vacation playing house when clearly none of us were a priority in his world, knowing full well he had betrayed our family just 2 weeks prior. His daughters already had plenty of examples of how a woman should never be treated from their mother's relationship. How would he feel if someone did the same thing to them? I'm afraid that they'll never have a true example of what a healthy relationship and respect from a partner looks like. The woman he cheated with is a married nurse, whom he works for occasionally. She knows he's married with kids. I'm pretty sure she's met my mom and grandpa, mother's dad, as well as several of our other mutual acquaintances. Obviously, my stepfather knew she was married as well. Truly, I want to ruin both of their lives. I want to scream what they did from the rooftops, tell their parents, husband, in the case of the nurse, family, friends, and employers, or anyone and everyone who had the misfortune of meeting them. I want to put what they did all over the news and on every social media platform. Even all of those things don't feel like they would be punishment enough. I want them to feel 100x the betrayal, pain, and distress they put my mother and siblings through. I've never been a malicious person, but I don't think I've ever been this angry. I really need some advice.